We have an impending crisis happening in the Latino community if we don't keep our kids in school, graduate them, and move them on to college. And there are a lot of initiatives right now at the Department of Education working in partnership with and in coordination with non-governmental organizations to help alleviate that, ameliorate the situation so that there are opportunities for our children, they stay in school, and they have access to a better life.
Juan Carlos, I imagine that Cato's not overjoyed about the federal role in education, but it looks like the Obama administration has tried to also create incentives for new designs and new approaches to education, create incentives for states to compete for various kinds of funding based on merit and achievement. Is there something in there that a Cato guy can like?
Well, when I listen to President Obama talking about tax credits to go to college, when subsidies, state help, I just remember listening to President Clinton, listening to President Bush, and how you change college education for home ownership. And then I see the next bubble popping up, you know. It was precisely this kind of interventionism in home ownership markets that led to this crisis. And we're facing right now that the government is highly subsidizing college education and is creating a next bubble when it comes to college tuition expenses, college cost. And I think that sooner or later, many Americans are going to be faced down with that reality. College tuition expenses are going up dramatically, precisely because a lot of people are going into college giving these incentives, and that's not going to be good. Not everyone is prepared to go to college, and that's a reality we have to face. Many people are not made up to go to college. They're made up to go into the business world. They're made up to go into other endeavors, and I think that by pushing Americans into the college system this way, you're going to create the field for problem in the future.
Well, given Latino dropout rates, being pushed into college might not be a bad thing. But K-12 obviously still a big issue for our community. Danny?
I agree, and I somewhat disagree. I do think that investing in education, particularly secondary education, is probably a good investment. It's a renewable resource that, frankly, we're at a situation right where we're at a competitive disadvantage with countries like India and China and others. We need to make sure that we can graduate more engineers and scientists and technologists and so forth. Our greatest resource right now in terms of the future are going to be our young people, and the biggest proportion, the fastest growing segment of young people in this country are Hispanic youths. So we need to make sure that we're investing within that community to make sure that they're not just finishing high school, but also going on into careers in engineering and math and others, so we can have that resource, so we can be competitive macroeconomically on the global scale.
The president hired the head of the Chicago Public Schools. He's encouraging innovation, new designs of schools, new approaches to teaching. Is it enough, and will people see it on the ground in their neighborhoods?
I think eventually they will see it on the ground. The Race to the Top fund that's really spurring legislatures to make some changes to take on some of the vested interest, including the teachers' unions. The state of California, which is where I live, is in a crisis, but it is having to make some changes in order to be able to compete for the Race to the Top fund. So I think that this is all good signs, good efforts, and the fact is the notion that our education system should, 5,000 school districts, local control. I mean, other countries don't have that kind of absolutely spread around responsibility in which you really can't hold people accountable for the ultimate results of the system. So I think that we're moving in the right direction, in which what we're looking for is not dictation by some central authority about what you're going to teach on Tuesday afternoon, but rather the high expectations of a quality education for every child. And I think we're really moving in that direction.